Hi there, welcome to Workshop McCory, where we don't take any shortcuts, mostly. Hey, wanted to catch you up on something that I did this winter. You know that I had already picked up a Beta cross trainer and got it all ready to go, and I also managed to score an Intech Flyer Explore camper. Well, it got to be a little bit more than what I expected, and we'll get into it. But first I wanted to start with kind of the philosophy of why I was looking for one of these things. About 8 years ago at a Bagley campground hosted Wayne National Forest ride at an event called Wayland Wayne Weekend, there was a fellow from Canada that brought his Intech Flyer Explorer down, and I've been intrigued with these things for a long time because it is a way to simplify my camp setup. Now, you've heard me talk before about how much effort it is to set up the Napier SUV tent, and I love that thing. I used it multiple times last year, but it's a lot of work to get set up and get it all torn down. And basically when I've got my car towing my bikes, and I've got my bedding inside that can only be used once I remove everything out of the car and into the tent, and then I'm sleeping in my car and I'm using the tent, and that all was great. But then when I needed to pack up, I needed to pack all the stuff up from inside the tent, put it into the car, pack the tent up, make sure I make room for the tent. I know it sounds like I'm making it more than it is, but it also was quite a bit of effort. And when it is super hot out and it's muggy out and you're already exhausted from either prep or then from riding over the weekend, it is really quite a lot. And so I found out that I was reducing some of my riding time with that configuration. Came upon a really good deal. Turns out there was a reason why there was a really good deal, foreboding here, on an Intech Flyer Explore 2020 edition down in Cincinnati. And I went down and took a look at it and managed to land it and bring it on home in some really horribly snowy conditions. Oh my gosh, that it was a bit spookier than I probably lead on to friends and family. But I was able to get it home, and everything was all great. And I landed a really good deal on it. But it turns out that in my enthusiasm to check this thing out in 3 inches of snow that day and getting it home, that I failed to notice that the floor was soft. I had to pull back some of the flooring to look at where my the struts are in order for me to layer the boards and lay them down, or the tracks. And I discovered that, oh my gosh, at least half of the flooring in the trailer was rotted to the point where there was actually some black mold. There was a really makeshift, hacked together job that either the prior owner or their prior owner had done. There were 2x4 boards. There were layers of 1/8 inch regular old plywood with voids in it. There was metal plating that they had put in to help support it over areas that weren't over top of the horizontal struts. It was a nasty job, and somebody had clearly done it just to either get by with kids for camping, or just as likely to get it sold and make it somebody else's problem. And then at that point, I didn't want to get started on it until the roof had been assessed. And sure enough, I got up on the roof, and the trailer is almost 6 years old, and the butyl insulation, or not insulation, the padding, the adhesive, the sealant that they use between the aluminum panels, when it's exposed to UV, it deteriorates. And if you don't seal that stuff over time, it will leak. And sure enough, that's what happened. Prior owners had not done anything with it, with the exception of a really bad hack job. I found in the corners that there were plastic UV protection strips that had not even been removed before they put down some sealant like Dicor. And so it didn't seal at all. It had just covered up and layered on top of the covering plastic. So they weren't really thinking about the repair that they had done. They were just trying to get it dealt with, I guess, and didn't really know enough about the trailer. So you would imagine I was pretty darn crestfallen when I learned about the dilapidated floor and that I was going to have to spend a bunch of time on it before even using the camper. I mean, you don't want to pull heavy motorcycles up on top of such a vulnerable floor and have an issue while you're out and about. So the first thing I needed to do is I needed to check the roof's condition, and I needed to go ahead and seal that up. Probably over 1 or 2 or 3 winters that allowed the ice to freeze, expand, and push, hydraulic its way in. And I would imagine that somebody did this with the camper sitting out in the winter and then didn't check it for weeks or months, and then come in there and they find the whole floor is soaked. The solution was to clean the crap out of those rails along the edges and the seams between the aluminum roof and those joining racks with first mineral spirits and then isopropyl alcohol. The mineral spirits gets rid of any greases and things that are on there, and I scraped away all of the old Dicor that they had haphazardly put on there, of course. And then using the isopropyl alcohol, that gets rid of any last little residue that the mineral spirits leave behind, which gives you a real nice durable surface. Leveling Dicor, that wicks itself into the little gaps and right along the edges, and when you have a nice clean surface, it bonds really well with it. So I did that all along the edges, and I did it on every single one of those screw caps. And then I put brand new UV strip over all of the screw caps. All right, what looks like shiny here is just 221 epoxy. What I'm looking for is any moisture in the back. It was leaky all the way up to around here. The plywood is very soft, but there's nothing wet at all over here. So it's looking like my seal job worked. In fact, I don't even see moisture on the aluminum frame, and it has been raining quite a lot over the last few days. So I think I got it. Here's another view from behind with the door down. You can see moisture on the outside where the door does not seal. That's on the springs and on the door hinge itself. But there is nothing wet at all. Thank goodness. So once I was able to ensure that the leaks had been sealed and I was getting no seeping in from the back of the camper or anywhere for that matter, I then had enough confidence to take on the floor. And I decided to treat it like I was restoring a boat in the sense of using marine grade plywood and coating it with penetrating epoxy, including the holes that I drill through it, to make sure that the boards line up with the horizontal spars in the camper so that they're supported and I don't have to do any of that, that free hanging crap that the previous owner had done. So I did all of that, and I put together even a draft of the inside of the camper's floor in Fusion 360 in order to get all my dimensions right, and that helped give me confidence to then cut into the floor. What I found at that point is that I had to go as far back as about 3/4 of the floor right along a horizontal spar that's just behind the cabinetry, and decided that was a great place to stop. And so cut everything to fit. Once I got all that fit, put non-leveling Dicor in between the cracks, which helped to not drip through, but actually seal the cracks between. Sunk screws down into to the frame, to those cross members, as well as put aluminum track over the top of the G-floor. I forgot to mention the G-floor. It's very tough, and if you need to repair it or replace it, you can cut pieces out and put replacement pieces in there. So I got all that on and adhered, placed the plywood, got them sunk into the cross members. I made L-channel, brand new L-channel on the side in order to seal that off and use non-leveling Dicor to prevent water from getting past it, basically establishing about as close to a bathtub as you can inside of the camper. So the completed project on the camper really involves showing you the floor, the L-track that I put in place, along with a bolted-on motorcycle chock configuration that I can put in and take out pretty easily. I can adjust them to the number of motorcycles that I have in the camper. I also ran L-track down the sides, or if I have supplies to put in the camper, if I have boxes or other kinds of things that I want to store in there, I've got lots of tie-down points on it. The L-track, like I mentioned, fits really well in there, and I 3D printed some caps on the ends, as well as some TPU inserts to keep water and dust and stuff and toes as well from getting into the tracks and stubbing themselves. I also went ahead and put L-track up above the windows so that I've got hooks to hang motorcycle jackets and other kinds of gear. I did, in future videos I'll probably highlight it, I also added solar capabilities. And so I added a Victron 130 charge controller to recharge the battery. Went ahead and also installed some radio capabilities, which I'll also highlight in another video if you're interested in that. So I have VHF, UHF capabilities with a handheld radio to use GMRS and whatnot. So that was a lot of fun. And we also had fun putting in a WLED based lighting controller inside that we can power lights on the inside of the camper as well as run strings on the outside as well. So we'll show you some pictures and video of that in the future, probably how to set that up as well if you're interested in doing that too. So in the end, I'm really happy with the way the camper turned out. It was something that went from a lot of excitement about a heck of a deal that I got and quite an adventure getting home in the snow to being crestfallen about the water damage and wondering what else might be involved with restoring this camper. But that turned into a wintertime project that has basically created a camper that's perfectly fit for me and for the purposes of making things simpler for me. When I arrive at a campground, I can pull the bikes out, I can go to sleep inside of it, and I can then load everything up and get out of Dodge, and it was a lot less effort than that otherwise really cool Napier SUV tent provided for us. So I hope you enjoyed this video and it wasn't too long, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments section. As always, I'm not looking to monetize this channel or turn this into something big, but if you want to learn more from what I'm doing, or if you have some ideas or opinions about the stuff that I'm doing, feel free to hop in there and do that as well. So anyway, hope to see you in some future videos and that you're going to have a great summer as well. Take care.